And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another day, another edition of the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, week number 39. Nearing the end of the year, the end of December. Welcome, everyone. Once again, hope everyone has had a great time here covering DreamHack or watching and being a part of DreamHack Atlanta over last weekend. We did take a week off from KSL because of DreamHack Atlanta, but now we have returned with that Korean StarCraft League action. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is massive. It's full of high quality players as well. We can delve into the bracket soon, but until then, we have our first series. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Hecate, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Hyper 1, living in the land of Japan. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the top right hand corner, in the top right, we have his opponent. We have the Taiwanese Protoss player representing Starlight Twinkle, the best player in all of Taiwan. It is Nice. Welcome everyone to the chat. I see Mito in the chat, Slow Bro as well, SC2 Brent. Oh, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Karma, Baby Ling, Frost as well, Sounder. Welcome everyone. It's been far too long since our last KSL, but not long enough at all between the last series we cast between these two players. Nice and HonMonO, they've been facing off very frequently. They faced off last week in Sparkling Tuna Cup. They've been facing off in the finals of GPO as well. Speaking of, GPO is in a couple of hours. We have back-to-back broadcasts here today. 3 casts in one day. Let's go. It's gonna be a long day of StarCraft, as HonMonO does pull out just in time, doesn't finish too early here in the natural, and will force Nice to expand elsewhere. Okay, so already things gonna be popping off here. So again, this has become very commonplace in TVP ever since the new patch in the new meta. These eBay blocks are terrifying. The reason why behind this, it is a single gas opener, yes, but it is not a Rax expand, it is a Rax into factory. We have a reactor on the way. This should be leading into an add-on swap, and we're gonna be going into Hellions and Cyclones. The reason for this here is because we're looking to abuse the fact that Nice is split up between his bases. We already have a shield battery on the way. Again, Nice, he knows how vulnerable he is because he is forced to expand in a really awkward place, and he's going to be split between his bases. He's going to be spread thin here, and we go for a Stargate opener. Stargate openers are very common in this situation. The reason for this is because the rush distance by air is shorter than the rush distance by ground. We need to have maneuverability more than anything to be able to keep between both these bases and to keep up with the aggression of our opponent. As we are not going, we're not going Hellion, we're going Cyclone first. Again, a very powerful maneuver here from HonMonO. This is also the big reason why this opener in TVP has risen in popularity, specifically in the new patch, because of the new Cyclone. Because of that, we can actually take advantage of not just our players' immobility, but also even if they go for a Stargate opener, Cyclone shoot up, and they can pick off Oracles, they can pick off Phoenixes as well. They are quite dangerous, and here we go. The first Adept does make it in, actually. I'm not too sure if that was intentional, but we do shut down the Adept. Oh, we actually, force it into the main base. Does go down, and now HonMonO can move out. Now we have the Cyclones for DPS. We're going to have Hellions to try to get economic damage. That's the role here. Hellions for workers, Cyclones for everything else. Meanwhile, Void Ray first. Interesting choice. This is unique here. Usually we go Phoenix or even Oracle. The Oracles can DPS down the Hellions. Phoenixes can lift up the Hellions or lift up the Cyclones. Void Ray is an interesting choice. Void Rays are very powerful defensively. This is true, but they're also much more immobile compared to Oracles and Phoenixes. So we'll see if they're going to be able to be in position in time and how much damage they can get done as well. One Void Ray with Prismatic Alignment, we can kill a couple of Cyclones. Like, the DPS can be quite high here from Nice, as he is getting in position here at his natural base. At the same time, we don't really have the best SimCity here. Usually it's very commonplace for the Protoss player to actually wall off, and there we go. We have the gateway on the way. We should be able to wall off in time to deny a dive into the main, but here we go. The Hellions and Cyclones, they're diving in. Do we have enough? We do throw down the wall just in time, but it's going to be DPS now. We do break through. We break into the main base. We get the lock on of the Oracle. This is what I was worried about, and the Oracle barely does survive. Shield batteries within range. Void Ray coming in from behind as well. We focus on the Cyclones. We have the overcharge, and we do focus on both Cyclones in the end. Hellions as well, and we will clean this up. Things got a little bit messy there. Things got a little bit chaotic, but in the end, Nice does defend. what are the trades looking like? We lost 4 probes for 2 cyclones and 4 hellions. That is a good trade for the Protoss. Nice has successfully defended. He has deflected this, and now we're moving out. We are moving out for a big counterattack. And what do we have at home to defend? We have HonMonO here with a 3-1 setup, delayed starport. Very important to take that in mind. Bear that in mind, take note of that, as we are delaying the starport production to build up the marine and tank count as quickly as possible. So this is building up towards a 2-base push, a very hefty 2-base push, eventually with medevacs when we do throw down the starport. Meanwhile, Void Ray has arrived, and we're going to be being as annoying as possible, going for that tech lab. Stim isn't done, by the way, so we can't really threaten that Void Ray. Good movement here by Nice, keeps the Void Ray alive. Again, just getting damage done, being an annoyance. Meanwhile, at the same time, Oracle gets into the mineral line. Will not get much done, though, as it just is not enough HP. Marines do zone that Oracle away. Behind this, we're just saturating our bases. We are going Stargate Opener, yes, into a Gateway Explosion, into Charge Lots. Interesting choice. Second Oracle has arrived, going to be tagging that army. Does take a bit of hull damage, did get a little bit too cavalier, as Nice will barely escape the clutches here of the bases of HonMonO. Both Oracles will get out. I believe we have a third Oracle. Yes, third Oracle has arrived as well, and we're going for a third base. Okay, so we're going Mass Oracle. That's math. That's the 4th Oracle. Getting up to 4 Oracles is wild, by the way. And meanwhile, here we go. 2-base all in from HonMonO. So far, unscattered. Oracles, stasis traps would be amazing in this position, but the Marines are going to be picking them off. They're going to be baiting them out. First stasis trap is going to be wasted. The army has been spotted, has been confirmed, and Nice. He needs to repair. He needs to prepare back at home. We have a lot of charges. We have a surround being set up. So far, some awkward positioning with the tanks, but we do manage to slip up into the main base. Here we go. There's Zealous coming from behind. They dive into the tanks. 1 tank goes down. The Oracles are going ham as well. That's a lot of Oracles. They mow through all the Marines. We get us around. We get the 2nd tank as well, and it looks like Nice will clean this up. He will shut this down. And with that, that's the death of 17 SCVs, 4 tanks, every single Marine, and now Nice is going for a massive counterattack. HonMonO, he's in some trouble. I was a little bit concerned there when it came to the engagement and how much the Oracles could really dish out, but they did a surprising amount of damage. They were able to just mow through all those Marines. We'll still have a lot of Marines left over. Boys are being pulled once again. Can we break this? Can we get on top of the tank? And we can. The tank goes down once again. Oracle's being forced back. It looks like Nice, he's running out of steam, though. He took down the tank, yes, but doesn't have enough to kill the SCVs. Does have to retreat the Oracles. They still want more damage. We're still making more Oracles, by the way. Oh my god. Just non-stop Oracle production from Nice. We're getting up to 5 at this point. And HonMonO is going to try to turtle here on these 2 bases. Again, he pushed without the medevacs. I was assuming he was going to wait for the starport production, but just now starts up the starport. And HonMonO's in a really, really rough position here. He never intended for the game to go on this long. The game should be over by now. Nice is miles ahead economically. Revelation here on the army, revelation on the Marines, the tanks, keeping an eye on things, getting an eye on the starport. Still no 3rd CC, no 3rd base here from HonMonO. And Nice is going to back off. Now, as things calm down, God, a big shout out to Ryu Papi. Oh my god, I saw you streaming earlier. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great stream. Whether it was StarCraft or Teamfight Tactics, Ryu. Ay, ay, ay. Pero ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome everyone that's tuning in. Of course, Ryu is one of our own, one of our lovely CranKy Ducklings, has been streaming some StarCraft every now and then, whenever he can. And yeah, thank you. Hope you had a great stream overall. As if you're joining us, welcome to the KSL. Welcome to the Korean StarCraft League. We're still in our first series, in our first game of the broadcast. Plenty more matches to come, and we have a matchup here between our South Korean Terran and our Taiwanese Protoss. And so far, again, HonMonO, he is the cheesiest, most aggressive Terran player in all of South Korea, in all of Japan as well, to be fair. And we're going for a 2nd all-in. Hey, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. We're pulling the boys for a 2nd time this game. Again, we are not going to be expanding. We're not going to be taking a 3rd base. We have +1 air attack on the way. We still have a lot of Oracles, to be fair. We have Phoenixes, which will help CC, crowd control, and pick up all these tanks. Well, that's a lot of Marines, and we don't have any splash damage. No Storm, no Colossi, no Archons, no Disruptors, just a sheer Gateway army. We're diving in a little bit too soon, but here we go. We're going for it. We pick up the tanks. The Marines, they stutter step here well against these Oracles. Massive mine shots go off, and it looks like we're breaking through. Oh my god. Here we go. HonMonO still has a very comparable army supply compared to his opponents. The tanks did survive as well. Every single Oracle went down. Really good stutter stepping out of HonMonO. Bunkers are being thrown down as well. The Zealots are charging in once again. We do lift up those tanks. The mines! Up! Ooh, big mine shot here on those Zealots. Good positioning here. Good choke point from HonMonO. He's once again pushing in. The tanks somehow survive. We're getting on top of the forges here. 1-1 did complete. Nice. We can see him once again setting up for a surround. He's looking to collapse on this army. Finally, these tanks should be going down. Good stutter stepping here. Good positioning for these Marines, but we're running out of steam. We're running out of units, and it looks like Nice will clean this up for a second time. HonMonO almost broke through. He almost got in. GG gets called, and Nice will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, the non-stop all-ins from HonMonO, which is what we expect to see. Again, HonMonO, he's a very aggressive player. He's all about, you know, proxies, cheese, 1 base all-ins, 2 base all-ins. Pick your poison. HonMonO will whip it out, and he looks damn good doing so as well. That's the scary thing here about HonMonO, is that, you know, despite him in a way being quote-unquote predictable because, you know, he's always aggressive, despite that, even if you know what's going on, it can be a tough defense and a tough hold. And hey, HonMonO, he still made it close towards the end there as well with that second all-in. Did well cleaning up all those oracles, but just barely did not have enough to break through the defensive line of Zealots. Barely could not kill Nice, and Nice takes a lead. GG. Again, these two face off many times here in our own weekly tournaments in Grand Platypus Open, as well as Sparkling Tuna Cup, and they go back and forth. They do go back and forth here. I wouldn't be surprised if we get an ace match, but for now, we're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Taiwanese Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Starlight Twinkle, surviving and taking game 1. It is Nice. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the pink Terran player, the cheesiest Terran player in all of South Korea, living in the land of Japan, representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. Here we go. So once again, we're going to be setting out the SV very quickly across the map. I remember last game, HonMonO did start off with an eBay block, and it looks like we're going to be doing something very similar here in game number 2. In game 1, HonMonO did not make this worth it. If you remember, he invested into 4 Hellions and 2 Cyclones. He tried to bust into the main base, and he got 4 probe kills. That was a rough start for HonMonO, and Nice was able to establish himself on 2 and then 3 bases. A lot of the momentum that Nice gained and a lot of the strength that he gained as well was the fact that he was able to minimize his losses in the early game. We'll see if HonMonO can make it work here though and achieve a little bit more damage and success in said early game, as once again he's going for an eBay block. Once again he's going to be forcing Nice to expand elsewhere, and once again I imagine HonMonO is going to be looking to try and punish the positioning here of Nice. This shouldn't be a Rax expand. It does look like it, but there should be a factory before CC, and there we go. The factory is soon to be thrown down. Again, this is a build that has risen in popularity just in the new patch, just because of these eBay blocks as well. And there we go. Nexus has been taken. So it's going to be a delayed expansion for HonMonO. He should be going for a reactor here on the Rex. There we go, reactor, into the add-on swap, into Cyclones and Hellions, once again, 2 games in a row. So this is going to be the same opener from HonMonO in game 1 and game 2. Meanwhile, Nice, we'll see what kind of defense he goes for. We'll see if he's going to be mixing it up. Once again, we have a shield battery in the mineral line. Last game, we did have a Stargate opener, and we spoke about the benefits of a Stargate opener in this position. The big one is that the rush distance by air is shorter than that of by ground, and in a position where you have to do your best to, you know, maneuver between your bases, maneuverability and, again, flexibility is key here. And the Void Rays and Oracles did very well for Nice. Did well for him in game 1, and we're going to be seeing something similar here in game 2. Once again, another Stargate. Meanwhile, Cyclones are on the way. There's a CC on the high ground here for HonMonO. Again, it's not a 1-base all-in. It's just a delayed CC here for our Korean Terran player. Adept is going to be coming in for a scout and should get eyes on the reactored factory. We may even get confirmation of the first 2 units as well, as we do not commit to the shade this time. This time the Adept will survive. If you remember last game, HonMonO did lower the depot wall and allowed the Adept to come in and then was able to get a kill, and the Cyclones have been spotted. Now, what's interesting here, Remember, last game it was double Cyclone into 4 Hellions. This time we're continuing Cyclone production, which is very interesting to me. We're already working on a second Rax and even a third Rax behind this as well, so it's going to be a 3-1 setup. Once again, delayed starport. This could lead into a 2-base all-in, or it could just lead into a delayed starport into a delayed third base. So we have aggressive potential with this army. But yeah, so this is really interesting. Basically, we delayed additional Hellion production to spend our minerals here on more Raxes. We are continuing Cyclone production as well. I imagine HonMonO, he may move out with his first couple of Cyclones, but he's not going to commit as hard, and he's going to be transitioning. Meanwhile, the first Oracle does get in, and we get a full Scouts. Big scout here for Nice. He does get a lot of SCV kills. He should be able to escape just in time, getting a bit of hull damage, but will manage to escape the clutches of these Cyclones. We get 3 SCVs, and we get eyes on all 3 Raxes, as well as the Cyclones. Back at home, Nice once again did open up Void Ray to be safe into a Twilight Council. This should be charge again. So, Nice. It looks like he's going charge lots alongside, a couple of Skytoss units to support. Meanwhile, HonMonO, very different approach, and I kind of like this. So, his HonMonO's adaptation, even though the opener looked very similar, is just taking a more defensive stance here and building up a little bit harder to his 2-base push, just because he's going to be preserving all these Cyclones. And he's got quite a lot. He's got 5 Cyclones in total. That's a lot of extra DPS. We already have Stim, combat shields on the way, tank production. This is all faster. This is all like 1 step faster compared to the last game, which means that the eventual 2-base all-in, and I'm assuming it's going to be a 2-base all-in out of HonMonO, is going to hit harder as well. And that's why it's so important here for Nice to get a revelation off. He gets eyes on the lack of saturation here on the low ground. There's very few SCVs, but we're still building up that worker count, to be fair. But again, Nice, his goal here is to keep eyes and keep tabs on whether or not HonMonO moves out. Another big thing, talking about the map, talking about Golden Aura, is the rush distance by ground is very short. Very short rush distance by ground, so these 2-base all-ins can hit like a truck. Meanwhile, we do get caught out. Big pick off. 1 Oracle does fall. Behind this, we're continuing Oracle production. We missed the revelation as well. We missed the units. And here we go. We're amassing our army. Do we pull the boys with this? We do. Not many boys to pull. Not going to be too many SCVs, but here we go. HonMonO, he's hitting hard. He's hitting fast. Nice, going to try to meet the army in the center of the map, but Nice, he has to try to slow this down. There we go. He does run into the Cyclones. Has to back off already. Oh, and Nice, he's woefully underprepared. He has very few units to work with. Charge is just about to finish up, but do we have enough Zealots? We have a shield battery, we have an overcharge, no stasis trap. Bunkers are being thrown down. HonMonO setting up here outside the natural base. The Zealots, they try to dive in, and we do activate the pulsar beam as well. We focus down as many of these Cyclones as we can. The tanks as well. But it looks like the Zealots get cleaned up. The Marines survive. We stim on forward. We stim up the ramp. We still have that overcharge. We haven't wasted it. There we go. Oh, a little bit premature with the overcharge, though. Again, it's slowly going to be running out here. HonMonO, he's going to wait out that overcharge. Reinforcements are coming in. He already stimmed once. His army is very low. Remember, every stim counts. Just because we don't have any medevacs. We're diving in. The Oracle doing what it can. It looks like the tank is going to fall. And these Zealots are doing so much damage. Because the army's so battered and bruised, it doesn't take too many swipes. Doesn't take too many Zealot hits to bring this back, and it looks like Nice will hold. That was an intense moment. Nice, he barely does hold on. More charge lots are going to be coming in. HonMonO running all the way back. No bunker set up here. Boys are being pulled to repair to buffer. HonMonO, he's still struggling to survive. As he has to pull back here to mining. Trying to set up a defensive position. Behind this, Nice, we have a third double forge. 1-1 going to be on the way. Nice, transitioning out of this, taking up, focusing on his upgrades, and continuing Oracle production. And something that we lacked last game that we're getting here, Temple Archives, Storm, Archons, High Templar. We now gain access to some splash damage. Nice is going to have a much easier time if it's going to be a follow-up 2-base all-in. And based on what we saw last game, I imagine that's going to be the case. After losing so many SCVs, that was what, 12 dead workers here, 5 dead Cyclones, 2 dead tanks. Trying to take a third CC from this position is going to be very difficult. And here we go. We have a 4th Rax. We have the starport. Interesting. Okay, so that's going to be a 5th Rax, which is normal. Like 5 Raxes for a 2-base all-in makes sense as the Oracle's going ham. Oh my god, we're getting more SCVs! We can't afford to lose workers. But this is the big one. Ghost Academy. Ghost Academy is on the way. We're taking up even further here. And I'm curious if HonMonO does plan on expanding. Now, he may just go for a 2-base all-in with maybe 3 Ghosts and 3 EMPs. That's a big possibility here for HonMonO. I'm loving the positioning of these Widow Mines. We're fanning them out, hoping to catch some of these Oracles. Cheeky moves here from HonMonO, hoping to catch Oracles or anything else. Behind this, the Temple Archives is done. A couple of Archons are on the way. Still no Storm as we're taking a 4th base, and I hope we don't delay Storm for too much longer, just because it can be invaluable here in the defense. Meanwhile, Ghosts are on the way. The Oracles are being the Mine Shot. Oh my god, massive Mine Shots here. We'll connect with both Oracles. Really good positioning here from HonMonO. Really good pickoffs as well. Something going his way. Getting both Oracles in the end. Behind this, nice moving up with his Zealots. I don't expect him to commit to an attack. I think he's just getting in position to deny a 3rd. I think he's assuming that a 3rd base is going to be taken, or just in case it would be, he'd be here to stop it. So he's just getting in position here at that 3rd base. Behind this, continuing Ghost production, Marines, Marauders. We have a couple of medevacs to sustain this army. Still no 3rd base. This is looking like a 2-base all-in here. Especially with only 1 eBay. We're only working on 1 upgrade at a time. I imagine we're going to be trying to hit a timing here with +1. As the army is pushing on forward here, we do get eyes on all these Zealots. We got to get the hell out of here. We don't want to bleed out too much. 1, 2 Zealots go down. Decent trades. I mean, HonMonO doesn't lose anything for this. We can see nice, yeah, just fanning out his units, fanning out his Zealots, trying to get some spotter, some vision essentially out on the map. There we go. HonMonO pushing on the right-hand side has been confirmed. Nice. Still being very active with all these Zealots. It's a lot of... Jeez, that is so many Widow Mines. 7 Widow Mines. Once again, nice. Trying to get a read on when and if HonMonO commits. 3rd TC is on the way. Scan does confirm the tech. Do we have Storm? Still no Storm, by the way. We have High Templar, but yeah, they're just going to be morphed into Archons. The Zealots have been spotted. These are good pickoffs here from HonMonO. He's catching 3 units. Like, how many Zealots have gone down already? I want to say around maybe 4, maybe 5 Zealots. Doesn't sound like a lot, but every little bit counts. But there it is. 3rd TC. I can't believe it, but we are trying to expand. Another Zealot goes down. The mines! Ooh, big mine shots. We still have 3 more behind this. Oh, 1 of them goes down. A 2nd one as well. Some brutal trades. But it looks like we're going to be committing with these Zealots, which means these Zealots should be going down. At the same time, here comes the main army of Nice. He's got 1/1 upgrades. He's got +2 attack as well. He's trying to come in first round. A little bit of an awkward position for Nice, and yeah, he's going to back off. Scan confirms the 4th up and running. HonMonO down 2 bases, but he's up in army supply. That's what's scary right now. That's why I'm concerned there's no Storm. As Nice is kind of falling behind the supply deficits, and his army upgrades are good, don't get me wrong. He's got 2/2, but it's a couple of good EMPs, and this army is just going to crumble. Again, so far already 1 good EMP on these Zealots. But we are looking to connect on the Archons. Here we go. HonMonO, he is committing. He is, again, up in army supply. Overcharge is going to be popped. HonMonO pulling back with his Marines. Trying to make sure he doesn't get surrounded. Covering that tank. Shield battery, again, was a little bit premature here from Nice. Meanwhile, Nice going for a counterattack instead, or actually trying to set up a surround. But he's getting caught. Oh. He is getting caught out. At the same time, the tanks are exposed. Tanks going to be falling here. But these Zealots get annihilated. This is just not a good fight for Nice. And it looks like HonMonO snowballing out of control. Who needs a 3rd base? I mean, HonMonO eventually got a 3rd, but he's just been building up and trading so efficiently over the past couple of minutes. With a massive, efficient army of Marine, Marauder, Ghost. Yeah, big EMPs as well. I'm looking for big EMPs. Mine Shot's going to be going off. The Archons, they waddle into their deaths. 2 Archons go down for free, and it looks like HonMonO has done it. He's snowballing out of control. The Protoss may be up 2 bases, but again, the army quality just was not there. against Charger Archon, this army just, it's so fragile, so flimsy against what HonMonO has. It's all about the EMPs. There it is, big EMPs on the army. Good positioning as well. The Chargelots, with their upgrades though, they're closing distance. Oh, trying to force some friendly fire. Trying to force that mine shot. Another big EMP there on that Archon. The army is overstimmed. It is getting a bit overstimmed, but we have more Wind Mines rocking up. HonMonO, he should be able to deal with this. Nice, still has a better economy. Bear that in mind. Nice, going for some more warp ins. I still am concerned at the lack of tech. No disruptors, no Colossi, no storm. Oh god, these mine shots are gonna be brutal. I think Nicey, yeah, he's aware of them. He does see them. There's a revelation. Oh, but there are just so many Widow Mines. It's again a good EMP to start things off. So I was trying to come in from behind, but there's just another minefield. Oh no! Oh my god, big connection. Big connection on those zealots. I wouldn't be opposed to going for a counterattack here at the third base. Additional Vax is on the way. Nice, he's trying to buy some time here. HonMonO up 40 supply. That's 40 army supply, by the way. Once again, a big EMP here on these zealots. We're dragging the army through the Widow Mines as well. The minefield is brutal. HonMonO, he goes for a scan, gets eyes on the lack of fifth. Yeah, big mine shots once again, and HonMonO, he should be able to just annihilate this army. He sims on forward, takes down the Zealots, takes down the Archons as well. And GG gets called. HonMonO ties up the series 1-1. We're going to the ace match. GG, well played. HonMonO, his initial 2-base all-in may have failed, but that's the thing about HonMonO, is that he is tenacious, and even if the first all-in fails, man, he just stays on, turtles on 2 bases, techs up, and pushes again and again and again. It's what happened in game 1. It's what happened here in game 2 as well. You know, surviving an all-in from HonMonO is not enough. It's not gonna be enough. As we are getting ready here for our next game, for the ace match. Getting ready here for the ace match, and it's all going to come down to our final game. It's all going to come down to game number 3. Here we go. But yeah, overall, just really solid. I guess I should even say a composition, really solid composition out of HonMonO when it comes to working towards his ghost, of course, working towards his just 2-base play overall. Despite his initial push not really achieving too much, did quite well, and now we're getting ready for the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends in game 3. Where are the storms at? Well, I mean, to be fair, like, even if there were storms available, EMPs could have still affected that as well. But that's kind of like a big if, right? That's kind of a big question mark, or it would have been another factor, I should say, another factor in the game, another back and forth between the spell casters, between the ghosts and the storms. Nice instead, he was going for a very upgrade heavy style. I don't know if you noticed, but I think he was working on 3-3 at the end. Like, he was very heavy on upgrades and very reliant on them. But I do agree, though. I do agree that splash damage was necessary in that position. Like, Nice already had a better economy, but wasn't fully reflected there when it came to the army quality or the army composition that he could have had available. So, was caught out in the end, and here we go. Now we're getting into the ace match. Getting into game 3. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alkione, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Pink Terran representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Taiwanese Protoss, the red Protoss player representing Starlight Twinkle. It is Nice. Go. As we are going to be settling into the final game of this series. Again, so far, so good. Once again, for the third time in a row, we do have HonMonO going for the eBay block. Very consistently going for the same opener here. HonMonO has been this entire series, going for the engineering bay here on the low ground just to force the unnatural natural out of Nice. All about that eBay. With this should once again be leading into a factory before CC, and once again be leading into either Hellions or Cyclones. Now, we did see HonMonO deviate. Remember, game 1, he committed to harassing with his Hellions and Cyclones initially. Game number 2, HonMonO committed to additional Cyclones and actually didn't push out. He went for a 2-base all-in, but a much more crisp 2-base all-in in game number 2 from HonMonO, just because he retained all of his units and very quickly went up to 3 Raxes as well as tank production. And into Stim. Meanwhile, at the same time, we do see Nice being forced to take the unnatural. Natural going to be taking the linear third base as his natural location instead. See chat. Why did he make a Void Ray and not a Phoenix? Void Ray, a Phoenix is heavily reliant on having multiple Phoenixes to actually defend in the early game. The Void Ray does add a little bit more DPS and a little bit more defensive potential here, if he was assuming that the Cyclones would have attacked. If you remember, the Cyclones didn't, which is why the Void Ray wasn't really as useful in game 2, but in game 1, I think that's a good example. If you missed out on game 1, Nice went Void Ray first into an Oracle, and that did actually completely shut down the Hellion and Cyclone aggression of HonMonO. So it was a lot more successful and a lot more effective in game 1, less so in game number 2. Just because HonMonO didn't push. Meanwhile, behind this, we are once again going for the factory before CC, but we are going in a different direction. This time, no add-on swap. This time, we're going into Widow Mines instead. Okay. Oh no! Ooh, as the Adept almost gets in. But I'm sure the Adept does also recognize the later add-on swap this time, which is a little bit suspect. We are going to Cyclones eventually. There's that second Rex on the way once again from HonMonO. Widowmine is going to be waddling into that mineral line here, trying to catch any kind of harassing unit from his opponent. We do have another Stargate opener here out of Nice. Going to be going Oracle first. If you remember, did go Oracle first in game number 2, and is going for a second Oracle behind this. Oh boy, and I'm a little bit concerned here. For those who maybe don't see, that is a Widow Mine behind that gas geyser. Nice has to be very careful here with how he does push in. Meanwhile, we do have our CC being landed here at the natural base. Getting up into a 3-1-1 setup. Oracle dives it out. The mine is gonna connect, and the Oracle goes down in the main base. A brutal start here, and again, a really good adaptation out of HonMonO. Game 1, Oracle also went into the main base and was able to get some economic damage done. This time, HonMonO more than ready in position, and does reposition his Widow Mine once again. So a good start from HonMonO. Behind this, we do see Nice getting into the rest of his gateways as well, going for his Robo. Now, Nice, he did go into a second Oracle, and 2 Oracles do one-shot workers, but he may feel a little bit tentative about moving out now. As again, HonMonO going for a different variation. Did get a couple of Cyclones defensively initially. Adepts commit to the Shade. We do get eyes on the production, and this looks like another 2-base all-in from HonMonO. This... It looks like we're going to be hitting a timing with Stim and +1. We will have a tank production well underway. We may have a third tank in time for the push. We don't have as many Cyclones this time, so the composition is going to be slightly different to what we've seen before. Only 2 Cyclones. Remember, last game we had 5. So just getting into faster tank production this time. Remember, in the previous game, we had 2 tanks for the push. This time, we should have 3. Maybe even 4 tanks. Just because we should be waiting for +1. Let's get HonMonO. He's just turtling up here on 2 bases. At the same time, we have our shield battery. Behind this, we're getting into a more robo-heavy composition. I do appreciate that Nice is kind of switching up his playstyle and switching up what he's working with. Overall, I do think that's a good thing. Revelation does get eyes on the army. Here we go for the unsiege, and we are getting ready to move out. Okay, so we're hitting a timing with Stim. +1 still on the way. We have not pulled any boys yet. I'm curious if HonMonO intends on committing, as oh, he does get supply blocked. Ay. Brutal supply block here from HonMonO. Does have to break out of it. Behind this, Phoenix Colossus on the way. A much more standard composition out of Nice. Very meta, very by the book. He's got Zealots, no charge. Bear that in mind, no Twilight Council. There we go. The boys are being pulled. It's going to be a 2-base all-in out of HonMonO. When it comes to the defense, I'm a little bit concerned. I think we're barely going to have 1 Colossus, but I don't know if that's going to be enough, especially with slow lots. This army feels a little bit lacking here, as the Oracles are going to be diving on in. We do have a depot done. We go straight for the add-ons. We're looking to try and deny combat shields. Yeah, boys are being pulled, and a lot of SCVs are going to be going down as a result, but we are still committed. And these are Oracles that will not be a part of the fight. Colossus has arrived. Oh, but the tanks are sieging. Nice being forced back again. His attention was back across the map. He gets 7 SCV kills. Gets 7 SCVs, but the positioning here just seems a little bit too good. We're up to 4 tanks. If we had charged, maybe a different story here, but here we go. The Phoenix is diving in forward. They're going to try and pick up as many tanks as we can. Tanks are lifted, but the DPS just isn't there. The Phoenix is going to be going down. The tanks survive. And Nice, he just barely has anything left. He does kill a lot of SCVs, to be fair. Oh god, but the tank shots are just brutal. Yeah, we're focusing down the Immortals. Both Immortals go down. The tank survives. We may have 1 Colossus, but that's all we really have. We have a 2nd Colossus coming out. We do have a 2nd Colossus, and... Ay. Yeah, it looks like HonMonO, he's going to be able to break through. Going to be able to break into that main base as well. Gets on top of the pylon, gets on top of the robo. And it looks like HonMonO, he just has too much again. His tanks are still in position. The Colossus are getting a lot of damage done. Oh my god. Swiping away at the Marines. Very nice damage here from Nice. Can we survive this? I mean, again, Nice, he is ahead in economy, but he has to recall over to his other base, to his natural. Gonna try to hold on. Void Rays on the way. Phoenix has to be very careful with how we push in. Tanks still on siege. Nice. Again, he has the better economy. Can he survive? Can he clean this up? Tanks are repositioning. Phoenix is, oh god! Bit of miscontrol. 1 Phoenix does rally to its death. Tanks are pushing forward towards that mineral line. Still rallying Marines across the map. +1 is done. We do have a big gateway explosion. Again, the tanks, they do pose a big threat. 6 probes go down. HonMonO, he's catching up in that economy. Tanks do unsiege. They do unsiege as HonMonO, he's getting on top of the high ground. Uh-oh. And Nice, not quite in position. He's taking another base, and we can lay siege upon this mineral line. Yeah, we take control of the natural. Nice going for a big counterattack instead. And we should be able to get a lot done, to be honest. What do we have at home to defend? We have a handful of Marines, a handful of Marauders. We have a tank! That's going to be huge. We have 1 tank as well. Yeah, we're going to be evacuating that natural base. At the same time, we do see HonMonO pushing into the main. He just stims right into the main base, getting on top of the production. Colossus across the map doing what they can. A lot of SCVs are going down. The 1 Void Ray. The 1 Void Ray is all holding on here. Probes are going to be falling. Shield battery goes down as well. Across the map, we have killed everything, but alas, not going to be enough. GG gets called, and HonMonO will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. Oh, nice. Again, just had a really awkward defense initially. Stuck with all these slow lots, stuck with only one Colossus, and yeah, essentially every game, 2 base all in out of HonMonO. Let's go. Which is what we expect to be seeing, to be fair, with the kind of player that HonMonO is. Does end up snowballing out of control and does take down Nice in the end. But it was a back and forth, did go to the ace match. Honestly, I believe that Nice would be able to bring it home in game 2. Like, game 2 was looking rough for HonMonO. If you remember, game 2, his initial 2 base all in failed. It failed. Nice was able to defend. He got up to 3 bases, got up to 4 base economy. But Nice, he was just lacking a little bit more tech with his army. He was lacking splash damage. That was like the big thing that was missing for Nice. And the fact that HonMonO happened to be rushing into Ghost of all things against a charged lot Archon composition was brutal. And HonMonO, he was able to claw his way back in, win it in the end, and did take the series. With this, we can go over the bracket as well.